Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in West Coast, Canada. I hope everybody has had an awesome week. I hope you're all looking forward to a fantastic weekend full of fun and productivity. Students, right now we are looking at IELTS Task 2. We're finishing an agreement essay where we have complete agreement with one side of the argument. Of course, today's February 4th class is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. To become a member of our channel, simply click the join button next to the subscribe button. If you don't see the join button and you'd like to become a member, you can send me an email and I will share my email with you in just a bit. This class, everybody, is presented to you by aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us at aehelp.com. We have over 100 hours of video courses, 400 interactive slides, 6 original practice exams. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. Our websites look like this. This is our academic IELTS website here. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. As you can see over there, we are an official IELTS test registration center, certified agents, and we've got a great discount going on this week for the Lunar New Year. Happy Lunar New Year to everyone. It's the year of the tiger. So when you click the Join Now button, use the discount code TIGER9 to get a 30% discount, and you're off to the races. General IELTS.
Welcome to Academic IELTS Success, world leaders in IELTS skills and strategies to score over 7.
I got 7.5 on the IELTS and now I'm studying international business, thanks to AE Help.
I got 7.5 on the IELTS exam and I study computer science right now. Thank you, AE Help.
Stop that.
I passed.
There we go. Okay. It's the introductory video from our website, so check that out when you're there. Okay, everyone, so again, the discount code is TIGER9. Use that, and you can check out our apps, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help on your app store. Follow us on Instagram for daily vocabulary and our live class schedules, IELTS_AE Help and GIELTS Help. Yeah, Art, I caught that. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. I do appreciate that. Okay, so join our courses, do yourself a favor, get those high band scores. Students, again, we've got a few more classes for you, couple classes today, couple classes tomorrow. We've got speaking part 2 coming up today as well. And again, if you have questions, if you're not sure about our courses, live classes, the IELTS, right there, click or send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. Okay, so the task 2 question that we had yesterday, and we started this yesterday, IELTS Task 2. It was this question right here. Spend 40 minutes on this task. Some people believe that if the police force carries guns, it would encourage a higher level of violence in society. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So this is kind of like that question where you either completely agree, completely disagree, or partially agree. Now, usually for most of these questions, you either completely agree or completely disagree. It's quite rare that you would partially agree. And it's usually a better piece of writing, a more interesting piece of writing when you completely agree or disagree. So pay attention to the question. Be careful with your answer, because it does matter. So especially for the high band scores, it really does matter what you are actually writing. Okay, and you can't just be writing a template. All right. So you have to be careful. So in this question, we had a completely disagree, right? We said, well, no, it doesn't. All right. If you partially agree with this one, it really doesn't lead you to much value, right? Because at the end of the day, if you partially agree, then it's kind of like, well, then is it good for police to carry guns or not? You can't just kind of half carry a gun, right? You see what I mean? So usually it's a better idea to completely agree or disagree. In some rare cases, it makes sense to have partially agree. So just be really careful, okay? All right. Does everybody get that? Like, if you partially agree with this, then it's kind of like, okay, so what should the police officer do? Carry a gun but no bullets? I don't know, right? I'm not sure if that would be the right idea, or carry bullets but no gun. Okay, so yesterday we did some really good planning, everybody, and we did the paraphrasing for this question. So let's get to work on the body paragraphs and the conclusion for this essay, okay? So yesterday we paraphrased this question just to make sure that we have clear understanding. I think the members did a really good job on that, okay? We identified the topic. The topic was police force carrying guns, of course. Okay, it's nice and concise and clear. Okay. And then we identified the controlling idea, whether or not it's for the benefit of the public in the sense that it decreases or increases violence. And then we did some good critical thinking. So we asked, why do policemen carry guns? What's the logic? How does it happen, right? Of course, first of all, we asked the what question. So what are policemen carrying guns? So what does that mean, right? Okay. All right. And then we came up with a good thesis, and I think a lot of members came up with something similar yesterday, and that was really good. And of course, we kept in mind that, the police slogan around the world is that they are here to serve and protect. Iksha and Dafa, welcome to our group of members. Send me an email so I can hook you up with those exclusive videos. Welcome aboard. That's awesome. So get right in there today with the writing. So again, introductory paragraph, everybody, just a quick review, has a hook, background, thesis, okay? A good introductory paragraph always does. It's not, don't think IELTS, just think standard English essay, okay? If you take any writing classes or writing courses in college, university, they will teach you hook, background, thesis. Okay, Andika, welcome to our group of members. Andika and Iksha, and I think maybe Carolina can help you with that. She'll give you my email here in a second, hopefully in the chat, where you can send your emails. Okay, students, so this was our introductory paragraph right here. Okay, most police officers around the world carry pistols. It is the privilege of peace officers to always have sidearms with them, especially while on duty, to perform their civil service. For the prosperity of citizens, it is necessary to understand the value of permitting the police force to use firearms. I am in complete disagreement that arming police with guns leads to more aggression in the general public, because they do this for both the safety of themselves and the safety of society. Okay. All right. So now we have our body paragraph point 1 and our body paragraph point 2. So this is body 1 here, the first one. Okay, let's do it here. Body paragraph 1. All right, the safety of themselves, and then the safety of society. That's going to be body paragraph 2. Okay. Okay. So let's start writing this essay, the rest of it. Let's start with body paragraph 1. Now, for body paragraph 1, as body paragraphs go, there are some clear parts to a body paragraph, okay? So body paragraphs are made up of a topic sentence. You can see this. So students, when you think about a good essay, right, one great perspective, I guess, or one great way to understand it is think about the reading passages in the academic IELTS. So the reading passages in the academic IELTS are usually a type of expository essay, sometimes a persuasive essay, but in most cases they're expository essays, but they also have this structure, okay? So they also have this structure, all right? So think about that when you're writing this essay, and it makes sense then, okay, well, I'll just follow the same structure that IELTS themselves follows for task 2, except I'm using it in a persuasive essay. And the structure of a body paragraph is 1, a topic sentence that gives a deeper definition of point 1 in the thesis. Okay, so that's the first part. And then the second is an explanation. The third part is an example. And then the fourth part is a connecting sentence. And basically, 2, 3, and 4 are also called your supporting points. Okay, so your teachers will often call these your supporting points. Okay, so 2, 3, 4 will often be referred to as your supporting points. I'm just giving you a little bit clearer definition here. All right, so for the topic sentence here, we want to give a deeper definition of safety of themselves. So what does that mean? Okay, so what does it mean that police carry firearms for the safety of themselves? Okay, think about that. Give me a nice topic sentence, members. How would you start off this paragraph? Remember not to lose the focus, the controlling idea, and the topic of the question. Okay, so topic sentence, police carry guns for the safety of themselves. Okay. All right, so self-protection, Mal says. Yeah, absolutely, Mal. So put that in a sentence. You need to define it. Okay. I am going to give you this topic sentence as well, and then we'll compare. Now, again, members, when you're writing a topic sentence, just you can put the letter T in brackets or with a colon, okay? And then I know that you're writing your topic sentence. When we get to the explanation, just a capital E with a colon, okay, will suffice. And then when it's the example, just so I know it's not your explanation, EX, okay, with a colon. And there's happy faces coming up there. And then connecting sentence, you can just do a C, okay? All right, just like that, okay? All right, and again, remember IELTS, you have 40 minutes to do this, so you can't take too long. You do have to get pen to paper, where you have to start typing. When you're practicing at home, of course, do a good job, but do make sure that you can do this within the 40-minute time limit, okay? All right. So there. That's my topic sentence there. I'm going to keep it quite simple. And again, I'm visualizing this and I'm putting myself into some scenarios here visually. And then it's fairly easy to come up with my topic sentence. Okay, and so here, a primary reason for officers to have a pistol is to protect themselves by discouraging people from acting aggressively towards them. Okay? All right. So let's see what some of our members have. I'm just going to copy this out. Okay. So I'm going to actually start with Arda here. Okay. So Arda, let's take yours. Here's what Arda wrote. Okay. Arda says weapons are necessary for policemen for self-protection. Okay. It's a bit too simple, Arda. So if I were marking your paper, you have good English, you have clean grammar. My problem with it is that it's simple. And I don't mean the grammar is simple. You can write simple sentences in task 2. The idea is simple. So what I would write here is, this is a repetition of your thesis point. So it doesn't really give me any information beyond the thesis here, Arda. So the thesis already says that it's they carry guns for the safety of themselves. Okay, and I think you're just repeating that. Weapons are necessary for policemen for self-protection. So you're not really giving me any further insight into how that's connected. Okay. All right. Let's see, Bakrat. So I tell you to make sure that you give more detail there. Okay, that would be my feedback. All right. Okay, and this is from Bharat, I believe, yes. Okay, so Bharat says, you don't need to write topic, Bharat, just a T is enough. So general recognition and avoidance of possible harmful situations. I think you have the right idea, Bharat. I think you're on the right track with this, but I think you have to have more clarity. What do you mean general recognition and avoidance of possible harmful situations? It kind of feels, Bharat, like you're trying to go for an explanation almost more than a topic sentence, and it's a bit unclear. Okay, so my comment for you, if I were reviewing this in your writing, is I would say more clarity is needed. You'll often read greater clarity from editors, so greater clarity is needed. And this seems to be more of an explanation, or the start of the explanation. Okay, so keep your thoughts logical, Bakrat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. Let's take what June wrote here. Okay. All right. So June writes, peace officers' equipment, such as semi-automatic pistol, protects them from getting injured by criminals when serving daily duties. It's not bad, June. I think it's a little bit wordy, so I don't need to know the word equipment here, such as. Okay, so I would delete this. So careful with being wordy. Yeah, it's a fine line. So I would take that out. So police officers, semi-automatic pistols protect them from getting injured by criminals when serving daily duties. Okay, this is better. Okay, just make sure that you stay on topic. All right. Again, my comment here would read, avoid unnecessary wording. Okay. All right. It's a good start, students. It's a good start. So let's keep going with an explanation and an example, and I'll take different students for the explanation and the example. So please keep writing, members, because I'll keep in mind that here we had Bharat, here we had Arda, and here we had June. And for the explanation example, I'll try to look at some other students' writing. So keep going and give you some feedback, okay? All right, so here again is my topic sentence. A primary reason for officers to have a pistol is to protect themselves by discouraging people from acting aggressively towards them. Okay, now comes my explanation, right? So what do I mean that it prevents or discourages people from acting aggressively towards them? Okay, so okay, so there's my explanation, right? Just clearly explaining the concept of why people back down when they see the police are there. And of course, the police are trained and have those firearms, right? So police basically have two forms of strategy. One is their numbers. So, you know, there's one criminal, there's 10 police officers, and the other is the firearm. So those are the two discouraging factors. And if you visualize it, you can kind of see that. So here, my explanation is firearms are a clear sign of power as they are deadly weapons which give police the upper hand in lawless situations. Therefore, citizens think twice about physically harming a cop when they recognize that they are at a clear disadvantage. Okay. All right, let's see what you have come up with. Okay. All right, any explanations? While I'm waiting for the explanations, Ikshan is asking a question in the chat. Ikshan is asking, is there any video about writing, sir? I still don't quite understand about the structure. Did you explain it in your last stream? Ikshan, I explained the structure of the introductory paragraph and the steps for planning in the previous video to this one. And yes, to answer your question, yes, there is a video list on our channel which focuses just on writing, and we have lots of videos for writing task 1 and 2, and you have lots of materials for this on our website, Ikshan. So check out that as well. Okay. All right, Arda is the first to have the explanation up there. So I'll just read yours this time, Arda, and give you some verbal feedback while we wait for others. So Arda says, cops often face dangerous situations and they use their guns to avoid getting injured by bad people. Police officers are trained to use guns in order to protect themselves. Not bad, Arda. However, I'm still feeling like you have redundancy, like you're repeating the same kind of concept again and again. Okay, so careful with it. Kelvin, I saw that you had something there, but you retracted. So let's see what Bandita has written. Okay, this is Bandita's explanation. Okay. So let's take a few lines down. Okay, so these are the explanations coming here. Okay, so this is Bandita, and Bandita, it's quite a nice lengthy explanation. Let's see what you have. I know it's in 2 parts. I can see that. It's good. Okay. So here we go. As violence, careful not to overuse articles, students, like the, an. It's very common. Edit for that. Okay, Microsoft will also help you, the latest one, to edit for that. So as violence is increasing day by day, police officers required to be require to be armed. Okay, it's a good word, Bandita. You just simplify it. Armed in order to control the inhuman people. Wrong spelling there. Inhumane. Okay, is what you're looking for. It's a little bit of an awkward word in the context, but it's acceptable. In order to control inhumane people who are causing, you don't need all these commas, okay, who are causing problematic situations, problems in different regions. Additionally, the violent people think twice. Okay, I don't think it's additionally. I just think you have to start with violent people. Think twice. Now, don't jump to the future. This is a very common mistake, everyone. Welcome, Zoek, to our group of members. So here you would get the comment, do not jump to the future. Stay in the present. Okay, just like mixing up the voice of the author, so jumping around from, in my opinion, you should do this, people do that. So that's jumping around with the voice of the author. That's a big no-no. That's a big bad in the IELTS. You should not do that. You should not do that in writing. It's confusing. Who are you talking about? Yourself? Me? You're talking about all people, right? Same idea with tenses. You have to be very careful with your verb tense in good writing. You should not jump around from the past to the present to the future, because then your reader starts to get confused and they're like, okay, are you talking about the past or the future or the present? What's our timeline, right? So usually we want to stick to the present tense in argument and expository essays, okay? So violent people think twice before attacking officers as well as the general public. Yeah, and careful with the general public. I purposefully did not include that, Bandita, because that's going to be our thesis point 2, right? Remember, safety of themselves and safety of society. So when you have 2 points, they protect themselves with guns and decrease violence, and then they protect society and decrease violence. Make sure that you don't accidentally mix those together in your body paragraphs, okay? Keep them 2 clear, separate body paragraphs. So here, I would say in the proofreading of your work, I would highlight this, okay, And I would say leave this for the next paragraph. Okay. All right, so lots of tips. They're using Bandita's example. Okay. All right, so I will look for different students at different times. Okay, so Calvin, Romain, Baljit, keep writing, and I'll look for you for the next piece of the body paragraph. Okay. All right, so now comes the example. All right. And the example should be something real world. So it should be an example that your reader can visualize, that they can picture. Now you can use that kind of visualize emoji or the funny emoji that you have. So you should visualize. You should be able to visualize your example. Okay. So I saw a newscast last week where a burglar stopped immediately and surrendered once the policeman took out his firearm, and this clearly prevented further violence and crime. Okay, so just a very, I just made it up. Somebody running after they stole a TV, and they're running down the street. Policeman says, "Hey, stop." And obviously they know a gun has been drawn if they know the police are carrying guns. The burglar stops, gets on the ground, and they surrender. So they don't continue to run. They don't take the TV and throw it at the police officer. And it's a simple, clear example. Now again, notice how I am using I, and it's because my essay is in the first person voice. So in my thesis, I wrote I am in complete disagreement. So here in my example, again, I show the reader that this is a first person voice essay, which is totally okay, because the essay is asking for my opinion. To what degree do I agree or disagree, right? So it's my opinion, okay? All right. So here, again, I saw a newscast last week where a burglar stopped immediately and surrendered once the policeman took out his firearm, and this clearly prevented further violence and crime. Okay. All right, so that's the example. Okay, June writes, in Calgary, over 80% of policemen carry guns with them whenever they are on duty, and in fact, Calgary has the lowest percentage of police officers. Okay, June, it's a little bit unclear for me how that is related to violence and crime. Students, when you're thinking about your body paragraphs, be sure to have the topic and the controlling idea kind of like flashing in front of your eyes, right? So carrying guns decreases or increases violence, right? Okay, so this is the example from Ikshan. All right, Ikshan, here we go. So examples are coming up, which is great. You're all writing, very good, and you're not taking too long, which is fantastic. Okay, Ikshan writes, let's do this. There we go. Oh, okay. So here we go, Ikshan. Let me review this for you. So Ikshan writes, from my experience, I would take that out immediately because it's redundant with I saw. Okay, I saw and from my experience are the same. You want to avoid that kind of redundancy. It does keep your score lower. Okay, so this is a repeat of I saw. Okay, if you saw it, it's your experience. You don't need to tell me twice. That kind of redundancy or repetitive wordy structure in writing will decrease your score. So I saw many news. News is not really countable in that way. And don't say many news, focus on one instead. Okay? I saw news, you don't need the many, that reported how policemen can prevent further aggression, watch the spelling, and avoid injury that can happen to police in the area. Okay, this example is unclear, so I can't really visualize anything. It's very general. It's kind of like a cloud of information in my head. I see a cloud, but I don't see any information clearly. Okay, so here, what I would tell you, your fun is to rewrite this and think of a specific example. Okay, if you need to, then just come up with it. All right. Okay, let's take an example from Andika. Very nice. So new members are joining in. That's great. Lovely to see. Okay. All right. So this is the example from Andika. All right. So last month there is a demonstration near the let's say Parliament. Okay, Parliament is like a government building. When some of the demonstrators tried to breach the barricades, so last month, I would join these, so it's a fluent sentence. Last month, during a demonstration near the Parliament, comma, okay, so just some grammatical correction here. When some demonstrators, demonstration and demonstrators are the same words. So to improve your lexical resource mark, you want to paraphrase that. What's another way to say demonstrators, everyone? So we're not saying demonstration, demonstrators, demonstrating. Instead, we just want to use the word once, even if it's a different word form. So when some of the, I'll give you a hint, it starts with a P. Okay, so here I would say avoid word repetition, even if it is a different word form. Within the same sentence. Okay. Yeah, very good, June. So June says protester. Yeah, so protesters. Okay. So when some of the protesters tried, because it's a past event, to breach the barricade, and the police officers started to raise their guns, the situation came under control. Okay, I think this is a fantastic example, but, big but. Okay, Andika, great example for paragraph 2, for body paragraph 2. Okay, so in the first body paragraph, we're talking about police officers protecting themselves and violence and aggression decreasing towards them, right? So And then the general public, that's going to be the next one. And I have to be careful, I think even with my example, it might not be clear. So here's my example. I saw a newscast last week where a burglar stopped immediately and surrendered once the policeman took out his firearm. And this clearly prevented further violence and crime. And then here, if I want to be more clear, towards the officers. Okay. All right, so we always have to make sure that we're keeping in mind the topic, controlling ideas, and simultaneously we want to be thinking about the key points of the thesis statement. Okay. Okay. So now we want a connecting and concluding sentence. The connecting concluding sentence can be very, very simple in the IELTS exam. It really doesn't have to be tricky in many cases. So all you have to do is write something like this, okay? This is one clear reason for disagreeing with police guns leading to more violence or more aggression. Okay. All right, and then when you're at home, you should read the body paragraph, make sure that it makes sense, make sure that it's clear, avoid repetition, wordiness, and so on, paraphrase when necessary. So let me just go over this together with you, and then we can move on to body paragraph 2. So a primary reason for officers to have a pistol is to protect themselves by discouraging people from acting aggressively towards them. Firearms are a clear sign of power as they are deadly weapons which give police the upper hand in lawless situations. Therefore, citizens think twice about physically harming a cop when they recognize that they are at a clear disadvantage. I saw a newscast last week where a burglar stopped immediately and surrendered once the policeman took out his firearm, and this clearly prevented further violence and crime towards the officers. This is one clear reason for disagreeing with police guns leading to more aggression. Okay, so the opinion that police guns lead to more aggression. That's a little bit clearer. Yeah, there we go. Now I go on to body paragraph 2, and this is my main kind of argument. So it's not just that people are less likely to be violent and aggressive towards police officers when they have weapons, or firearms, I should say. Because weapons, there are different kinds of weapons, so be careful with that. The main argument here, of course, is that they serve and protect the public. Okay, all right. So body paragraph 2 follows the same structure as body paragraph 1, except you might not need the connecting sentence just because you have a conclusion at the end. So same structure as body 1. Okay, now for this, members, please start writing your body paragraph 2. Again, write T if it's the topic sentence, okay? Write E if it's the explanation, write EX if it's the example, and I will look at the chat and read out some of your sentences as you get into the body paragraph, okay? And you are very, very welcome, students, for the corrections. Zoek, I'm watching your writing as well. I see it there. I watched the Daily News a few days ago. There was a kidnapping story about a woman who was held captive by her husband. And when the police force came, this dangerous man had to surrender. Yeah, now again, Zoek, remember, guns, policemen, protecting them, and less violence, okay? Try to fit that into that example. Okay, here we go with body paragraph 2. So, and I'm doing it in real time. Students, I'll be honest with you, like I don't have time during the week to pre-script these essays, so it's not like I'm looking somewhere in my office. I'm just thinking just the same way as you, writing this information the same way as you, and of course I have the added challenge of looking through the class and giving you feedback as well at the same time. So again, following the structure, practicing the structure, you become very fluent and very accurate in your writing, okay? So here I would connect by saying furthermore, because this is arguably a even more important point, okay? So, okay, so here's my topic sentence. Furthermore, police are able to best serve and protect the public. Notice how I'm using that very famous slogan of serve and protect the public by having a sidearm. Sidearm is a firearm or a gun, a pistol, in order to make sure that they can mediate aggressive situations among citizens. Mediate means to control, okay? All right? Indeed. There we go. So here is my explanation. Indeed, recognizing a policeman with a pistol immediately gives a loud voice to peace officers to stop people from harming each other or themselves in family disputes, protests, or burglaries. Watch my parallel plurals, okay? Burglaries. And then, if I want to give a really quick example for this, I can simply take what was written by, I believe it was Bandita that wrote this. Okay, and this is my proof, Bandita, that what you wrote for your example in the previous paragraph would work very well in this one. Okay, so I can literally take what you wrote and just stick it in right there. And then I'll just do this, accept all changes, or accept this change, careful. We'll change the size to, or we'll change the font to Calibri so we got the same look. I should have done this first. Let's clear the styles, clear formatting there. Now I can go 14. And you'll see once I have it adjusted, it's like as if I would have written it myself. So last month during a demonstration near the Parliament, when some of the protesters, and we actually had a demonstration here in Victoria and Vancouver as well. Luckily it wasn't violent, but we did have a demonstration. When some of the protesters tried to breach the barricade and the police officers raised their guns, I'd simplify it a bit. Raised their guns, the civil unrest came under control. The citizens came under control and did not harm each other or the government workers. Okay, so it's reducing violence, okay? So there's my second body paragraph, and now it's looking good. So see, Bandita, why I said that one I think is a better example for body paragraph 2? And so especially if you're doing the computer-based IELTS exam, if you realize that, if you're like, wait a second, I think that's better for my next body paragraph, don't delete it, okay? So when you're typing and when you're writing information, especially in the computer-based, and this is where the computer-based IELTS is a little bit easier. If you can touch type, you can just cut and copy, okay? You can Control X, Control V for paste. So you can cut, copy. You can use those shortcut keys in your computer-based IELTS exam, and you can just cut it out of your first body paragraph and stick it into your second body paragraph, and you're good to go. You didn't waste any time, okay? All right, so I see some good writing there. Calvin says, in order to serve and protect societies from various public threats like murder, robbery, and hostages, skills in handling becomes handy for cops. Calvin, very nice. Watch the handling and handy. Skills in handling guns becomes useful for cops. Okay, so handy, handling, it's kind of the same word again with different word forms. Okay. Arda writes, when citizens are in danger caused by criminal, police officers raise their guns to stop harm and save citizens. Better, Arda, better. Yep, you've got deeper definition there. Zoak says, in addition, police forces can show their help the best way they can possibly when they are armed in situations like robberies, kidnapping, murder, and probably the most dangerous of all, which is terrorism. Okay, yeah, Zoak, careful not to get lost in your thoughts. Focus more on having a clear explanation for the reader, okay, for the reader. Baljit, police having a gun police having guns serves as a sense of safety for the public because individuals know that when a situation goes wrong, armed cops can handle it. Okay, not cope, can handle it. And then you're on the right track. Careful with your word choice, Baljit. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you are, Baljit, going into an explanation there as well. Okay, and then the conclusion, everyone. So here we go. I'm going to write up the conclusion. Conclusion, keep it simple. So it has your main points restated. It has your argument strengthened. Okay. And it has your take-home message. So why is your argument important? What do we learn from it? What can we take away from it? Okay, so in conclusion, armed police not only ensure that there is harm reduction towards their profession, but also decrease in, let me try to paraphrase this a little bit, a decrease in violent behavior within society. Now, if I'm getting stuck for words like violent and aggression, I can use the thesaurus. Okay, so the thesaurus is available to me, and it gives me words like fierce, intense, furious, aggressive, brutal, cruel, sadistic, vicious. Those are some good words. Brutal is a good one. Okay, so let's use that one. And this will help to increase your vocabulary as well. So brutal. Nice. Okay, so in conclusion, armed police not only ensure that there's harm reduction towards their profession, but also a decrease in brutal behavior within society. These are my points restated in another way. Therefore, I am in complete opposition to the idea that that violence increases as a result of police carrying guns. And then here's my take-home message. Ultimately, if this were the case, most police around the world would have been disarmed decades ago, probably centuries ago, but decades ago, right? So if it were true that society becomes more violent because of police officers having guns, then probably we wouldn't have police officers on duty with guns, right? It wouldn't make sense, okay? All right, so there is my full essay from top to finish, okay? I'm going to read through it and make sure it's good, and then I'm ready to end the IELTS exam because you've probably already done your speaking and you finished the other two parts as well, and you're happy and you're ready to go. Okay, so always review when you're at home. Here we go. Read the original question. Okay, it's way up here that we started last class. So you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Some people believe that if the police force carries guns, it would encourage a higher level of violence in society. To what extent do you agree or disagree? That's the question we have to answer. We've done some good planning, and then we write the introduction. Most police officers around the world carry pistols. It is the privilege of peace officers to always have sidearms with them, especially when on duty to perform their civil service. For the prosperity of citizens, it is necessary to understand the value of permitting the police force to use firearms. I am in complete disagreement that arming police with guns leads to more aggression in the general public because they do this for both the safety of themselves and society. A primary reason for officers to have a pistol is to protect themselves by discouraging people from acting aggressively towards them. Firearms are a clear sign of power as they are deadly weapons which give police the upper hand in lawless situations. Therefore, citizens think twice about physically harming a cop when they recognize that they are at a clear disadvantage. I saw a newscast last week where a burglar stopped immediately and surrendered once the policeman took out his firearm, and this clearly prevented further violence and crime towards the officers. This is one clear reason for disagreeing with the opinion that police guns lead to more aggression. Notice how I have clearly and clear here, so I would actually change that. So this is one distinct reason. Now I don't have that repetition. Furthermore, police are able to best serve and protect the public by having a sidearm in order to make sure that they can mediate aggressive situations among citizens. Indeed, recognizing a policeman with a pistol immediately gives a loud voice to peace officers to stop people from harming each other or themselves in family disputes, protests, and burglaries. Last month, during a demonstration near the Parliament, when some of the protesters tried to breach the barricade and the police officers raised their guns, the citizens came under control and did not harm each other or government workers. In conclusion, armed police not only ensure that there is harm reduction towards their profession, but also a decrease in brutal behavior within society. Therefore, I am in complete opposition to the idea that violence increases as a result of police carrying guns. Ultimately, if this were the case, most police around the world would have been disarmed decades ago. Okay? So that's my full essay. Now I feel that it's clear, it's accurate, I fixed all the little mistakes, and I'm good to go for a band 9. That's how it works, students. And again, we had that question, are there more videos like this on the website and on YouTube. Absolutely, there are lots. So make sure to check us out at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. Again, we've got this discount code, Lunar New Year, okay? Discount code, 30% off, Tiger9. So please visit us on our websites. That's where you will find all of our great materials. And click those big red buttons, the Join Now buttons that you see there, okay? So again, the websites, this is aehelp.com. Click this big red button above my head, right there, and join the premium package. Welcome new members. I'll wait for your emails. Once you send me those emails, we can send you back your perks, your exclusive videos, depending on the tier that you signed up for, practice exams as well. I'll be back in 30 minutes, everyone, with speaking part 2. That will be an all chat class. Everybody will be able to join. So hopefully you will come back for that, and I'll see you for that. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating the chat. Thank you, members, for your support. I hope you continue to have an awesome weekend, and I hope to be a part of it a little bit longer for the next class. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria. Bye for now.